Okay, so I'm doing the visual option again for the final. So I decided to do the visual again because I felt as if I could get it more out of, like, a description out of my personal experience versus typing it all out. So when I was younger, actually, like a few years ago, like 5 years ago, so not that much younger, but I actually did go to the suicide prevention walk, and I did not know this until I mentioned the paper to my mom, and she said, "Hold up, well, where was it? Where is it at? And like, what is it about?" And I told her it was at LSU. It was an annual thing. It was the seventh annual one, I think, or the eighth annual one this year. Um, and she was like, "We went to that a couple years ago when your Aunt Debbie passed away." And I instantly remembered going to LSU. I was not sure why we were here, even, but now I know. So, a few years ago, my Aunt Debbie passed away, which is my mom's sister. Um, this sister was more like a mother to her and more like a grandmother to my brother and I. And that's how we saw it. That's how we were raised, basically. Um, so my mom really like went through um, the bad parts of her death, and I witnessed it all. My brother witnessed it all. My boyfriend at the time witnessed it all. Like everybody just knew like she was going through it basically, and so my dad decided, let's go to this walk. Let's go talk to other people. Let's do it. And it was honestly one of the best decisions that my dad could have that he's ever made, to say the least. And yeah, my mom definitely just like she just loved it. She didn't like telling everybody what was wrong and like or what happened. She just kept it personal, like to herself. Like she didn't want to talk. So we walked around LSU. We started at the amphitheater, I believe. I think that's where we started, or I could be getting that mixed up with bands because that's where we start. But I'm pretty sure that correlates in my mind for something. Um, and we did have pictures, but the flood took that from us. So of course my mom did go through it again whenever she realized, like, oh, all of our pictures are gone, like baby pictures, everything. So that was not a good time in our lives either. But besides the point, so yeah, I just remember, um, like when we were discussing it in class, I remember talking about the balloons and the release of the balloons, and I have done that plenty other times. I went to a bad school. Well, not a bad school, but I was around bad people, around bad areas, and a lot of my classmates have been killed, like shot, or they killed themselves. And I've gone to numerous balloon releases, and I mean, it's just, there's no words to describe how you feel whenever you personally are releasing the balloons, or if you're just watching it. Watching it is more surreal, I guess is the word I'm looking for. It's just like it'll bring tears to your eyes, even if you're driving down the interstate and you see a whole bunch of balloons. Like, that's it's coming from something bad that's happened, and or just something people are celebrating life for. So it can bring happy tears to your eyes, but most of the time, for me, it's been sad tears or sad memories in that case. So let's see, I remember there was this one guy. He was a suicide victim, or a suicide survivor. I saw this video on Facebook about this guy, and he tried committing suicide by jumping off of the Golden Gate Bridge, and he survived. Just hitting that water is like hitting concrete, he said. And, like, you know, we all know that. So, watching that video, just, it's just wild to think that I was walking amongst people who probably would have chosen to do that if they lived somewhere where there was a Golden Gate Bridge. I mean, the Mississippi Bridge, but I guess that's different. But it's just, you know, watching that video, it brings back all the memories of doing the walk. And he like goes and talks to schools and stuff, which is the best thing that you could do to come out of that, you know, that mind state. So let me see what questions I'm missing. I don't remember if someone specifically talked to me about their loss, but my mom did mention that someone was definitely having a rough time, so she kind of like stayed by them. She walked with them until they were ready to tell her like what had happened, and I didn't want to push my mom into telling me what happened, because I you know, that was her experience. It's not my experience to tell, but they survived, and it was recent. I remember her telling me that it was recent, and whenever we went to the walk, and this person, they were just not okay, and she could tell that, so that's why she went over there and she just walked with them. That's all she did. And I do remember seeing her walking with someone, but I was younger, and I was not paying attention to anything going on around me. I wish I would have, because I did miss this year's because I had work, but I do plan on making this next year. I plan on doing it because I will not be in school anymore. I will have a big girl job, hopefully, and I want to make it every year because suicide prevention is one of the easiest and best things that could happen. Like, the organization, I hope it takes off more than it is now, because we need that. Last year, we had a guy kill himself from LSU. He killed himself in the wooded area on Nicholson. And I remember coming back from a Drumline Thanksgiving dinner, and they had been looking for him for a couple of days, and there was something going on. It was so backed up on Nicholson coming back, and we passed the big white trailer, and like, I will never be able to get that picture out of my head, because that was, they found him, and I constantly have nightmares about that. And I didn't see his body, I didn't know what was going on, but instantly it popped in my head, that's the boy that killed himself. I knew it. And there was WBRZ was there. Like, we had to like pass on the opposite side of the road because that's how bad traffic was, because they were on the road itself. Like, the big white trailer, they just stopped, and there was cops everywhere. Like, it was he's the reason why I want to definitely go to the walks from now on, because I constantly still think about that. And yeah, it's just, the whole walk itself is surreal, and it needs to be a thing. Like, more people need to hear about it. And definitely whenever I posted on Facebook about it, people, they didn't like or comment. Well, a few people did, but a lot of people reached out to me via text message or via Facebook Messenger, and they were just like, this is wonderful. I'm glad that you're doing this, and I'm glad that your school is doing this. I'm glad LSU is putting this on, and that it is, like, there's no other feeling of feeling like you're doing something. Even though I did not go, I shared it, and, you know, I did all the things that I felt I could do to do this assignment. But yes, to put it all in one word, it is surreal, for sure. And it's something that just needs to be a thing. Like, suicide prevention is definitely one of those things that just has to be a thing, whether we like it or not. And, yeah, so, that is my take on the suicide prevention walk, the circle walk, and, yeah, I really enjoyed the class as well.